Hello and welcome to the episode 4 recap of Gossip Girl. It felt a little bit like we took one giant step forward last week, and then this week we took a couple of steps back with a really messy episode, even by Gossip Girl standards. I'm also kind of concerned about the structure of the show. I mean, you have Zoya and Julian, who can be pretty heinous to each other throughout the episode, but we all know now that in the end, they're going to love each other, they're sisters, and they're sorry, and all is fine. So you can't really get that invested in the drama when you know that it's going to be too easy, right? I mean, it was still a decent episode though. I had fun for an hour. Anyway, let's talk about it in the video. So Zoya's 15th birthday. Audrey and Aki aren't over the Max thing, and I'm guessing this is going to be the main theme of this episode. Monet and Luna are in a bit of a panic because Julian announces that she wants to try something new. She wants to go without makeup and be more transparent in her life in general. Jules is also thinking about texting Zoya, but she doesn't end up going through with it. As a rule on the show, obviously, the adults are the worst. So we see Jules' dad's new girlfriend fawn all over her, almost trying to get some kind of clout or contacts or network from Jules. It's embarrassing, but Jules' dad, who's really sweet, seems to like her, and he's also really respectful of Jules' space around the house, so she's like, no, don't worry about hiding her again, it doesn't bother me, she's fine. Zoya's sulking, and at first I thought it was just because she's Zoya, but then she mentions that her mom died while giving birth to her, so it's not just her birthday, it's also the anniversary of her mother's death, well, the mother that her and Julian shared, so I felt really bad. She does blame Julian for leaking her birthday to Gossip Girl, so she's mad about that, and she makes it clear to her dad that she wants no surprises and no celebrations. Obi kinda does the opposite, and he does organize a surprise by renting croissants and crepe food trucks for her at school. It's pretty conspicuous, but actually as far as gifts go, this is fine. Other kids seem to be enjoying the food as well, and I think that he knows that she's not going to want a Chanel bag or something. This is sweet. Anyway, Aki is still feeling guilty, and Audrey is stressed about the Max thing as well because Aki might be bi or gay, and it's possible that he's been hiding who he is this whole time. She's just upset that Aki couldn't feel like he could tell her, but we all know that Aki is going through this discovery himself, so he doesn't quite know either. By the way, I adore her jersey here. Luna and Monet are obviously appalled that Jules is not wearing any makeup. They're trying to get her to go back to her old self, and they're always the highlight of the episode. Kate, meanwhile, is complaining that Gossip Girl's becoming like a full-time job, and she doesn't even have time for her lesson plan or her own writing. Ugh, she's so gross. So the other two goons tell her that they'll take over for a while and she can do her writing because she has this project for a big magazine, I guess. Luna then tells Zoya that Julian wants her gone, and she tells her that Julian has done something. Aki and Audrey, adorable and awkward as ever, both seem to be trying to get in touch with Max, who is MIA at this point. He hasn't shown up to class in a week. Zoya's dad then tells her that someone called into the housing board saying that they've been living in her grand's apartment and her grand hasn't been living there, which could lead to them being evicted. So I'm guessing this is the thing that Luna did, and Julian might have known about it. Anyway, Max arrives back at school. He's been to rehab, I guess, I think, but either way, it didn't take. The girls, Luna and Monet, convince Julian to have this very big party for her birthday to, quote, socially murder her sister, and Zoya then also suggests having a big blowout. The only reason she didn't want to have one before was out of respect for her mother, but now they're competing, I guess. I really try to root for Zoya, but I can't with her. I can't handle her. Anyway, a kid shows up next to her, and he tells her that he can't solve her problem. She needs to meet him after school. Then there's this gross and bizarre scene where Max walks in on the teacher in the shower. Why is this teacher showering in the school gym? Moving on. Zoya confides in Kate about the battle against Julian, and Kate encourages her to stand her ground as some kind of representative against the 1%. So Zoya goes to this little prince's home, and he's digging into Julian's past. He's going to help Zoya take Julian down, I suppose. Anyway, Julian gets a lot of cancellation notices from a bunch of people because this little prince is behind her old fat-phobic tweets resurfacing. After this, Julian sends out a video about her mother, honouring her and announcing that the party was actually for her, and it's also some kind of charity event in her mother's memory. Zoya is obviously really mad at this, and poor Obi, he keeps having to remind her that the woman was Julian's mother too. He's just patiently cringed out by Zoya acting out every week at this point. After she tells Milo, that's the kid's name, to go to phase 2 of their Destroy Julian plan, the fathers tell the girls that this party is going to be a joint party. Either that, all the party is off because their antics are annoying everybody, including me. Obviously, though, at the party, Zoya and Julian carry on with their shenanigans. Max, meanwhile, is kind of spiraling and the teacher shows up because, sure, I don't really care that this teacher is kind of trying to help him. We know what's going to happen here. Kate is at the party yelling at the other teachers because they're there and they're not keeping tabs on things for Gossip Girl. They've made her character so desperate for relevance and power, it continues to be such a strange choice. Audrey brings another guy to the party, trying to make Aki jealous, but the guy she brings is gay as well and her plan kind of falls flat, much like most of the plans that the people on the show make. She asks Aki then if he's gay. She realizes that it's not about her, she was just scared of knowing the answer, and he tells her that he doesn't know. Eventually we see this build up to another plan to take down Zoya. Julian gives a speech talking about her mom. She then presents a video to the crowd of Zoya vandalizing her old school, then it shows her being stuck in a classroom and panicking. It turns out Zoya was actually being bullied. This is all caught on tape, and obviously Julian looks pretty bad now for showing something that was so traumatic to her sister. She admits that she's a bully, and she pledges never to bully people again, and she apologizes to Zoya. They eventually make up. Audrey and Aki also finally talk, and he tells her he's into both, but that he loves her and he's attracted to her. Max, meanwhile, tells the teacher that his dad blames him for his marriage falling apart, and then they hook up. I guess the faster this happens, the sooner we can throw the story in the bin. When Zoya and Julian make up, Zoya tells Julian about the girls at her old school and how she blames herself for her mother's death. They both apologize to each other, and Zoya eventually finds the long-suffering boyfriend Obi, and they make up as well. See, now, I don't think that it's fair that Zoya's kind of the worst character. She's like Lil J in her bad years. But because she's genuinely been through a lot, and she's also really young, even though she's a fictional character, I feel bad, like, ragging on her too much, you know? I'm not a fan, though. At the end of the episode, it seems as though everything is kind of resolved, and I don't know, maybe they're going to have another fight and make up next week. We'll see. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. Thank you for watching.